Certainly one of the greatest blues guitar players ever, Mr. Albert King. Albert King played in a very unusual way. He played lefty, but he took a guitar strung for a right-handed guitar player and flipped it upside down and played in this way so that the skinny strings were on top, fat strings on the bottom. Highly unusual. And that enabled him to pull down to bend the strings, and he got some very expressive bends playing in that manner. He also liked to use over bends, very large bends, meaning bending the string a step and a half, 2 steps. And one of the things he did that facilitated that was he would tune the guitar down a step and a half. So I'm going to replicate playing in his style on a slow blues played in the key of G, which is the key he liked. He used it on Livewire Blues Power, that album, the song Blues Power. I'm going to replicate his playing by using expressive overbends and snapping the strings with the right hand, the picking hand. Here's the example. All right, this solo is played in the key of G. Many of the licks come from the G minor pentatonic scale, the notes G, B flat, C, D, and F. Played, of course, higher on the neck. And this solo is filled with all kinds of signature Albert King licks. I started with, so hitting that fifth to the root note and hitting a strong vibrato. Now I'm using a pick and hitting the strings very hard to get an expressive sound. Albert played with his fingers. And if you do that, it will sound more Albert-like. Snapping the strings as much as you can, pulling up on the string, or hitting it hard with the thumb. You get a real screaming sound that way. Okay, then in bar 2, I went to ending in bar 3 there. So this right here, another very expressive thing with bending, where I bend the 4th up to the 5th, but then I bend the major 3rd up a half step to the 4th. Now, I'm replicating Albert's style here. Albert would do all this entire phrase with string bending. All on one string like that. So he would go, but you can also play it here. Okay, then in the next bar, bar 4, I played. Now this lick, real classic Albert King style lick. One more time. Fret, 7th. Use the index finger to bend and release, and you slide down. And then that there, you're on the G string, bend up a whole step, and then pick that high E string, jumping strings, skipping over the B string. Very Albert-like. And that lick too, you hear that all over all kinds of Albert King recordings. Okay, now the next bar, bar 6, I win. So, ending with that half step bend up and vibrato. Again, Albert would play that by going. He would do all that on the B string. Actually, he did it on the high A string. I'm doing it on the B to replicate playing all those notes on one string. And now this lick, another classic Albert King, from the 5th to the 6th, then root back to the 5th. So it has a major sound for a second, but then the minor sound follows it, so it's balanced. So just expressive bends from the flat 7 to the root, and the 4th to the 5th. All right, this next lick is a little awkward to play on a normal guitar, because you got to get right to the bends as you change positions. And we're doing different levels of bends. We're doing pre-bends of a whole step, and released, and then bent a step and a half, full, and then 2 steps. So you got every variety of bend there on the 11th fret B flat note. The little half step bends at the end. That expressive slide down 11th fret, 10th fret, and then classic Albert King lick. Jumping strings again there, 3rd string to 1st string. Ending with that little 5th and flat 7th, which is vibrato.